Hey guys, Bryce here. Today I just want to talk about a bookkeeping business at home, like what most people don't know when starting their business from scratch and when they're working from home. So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit today about the principle of doing the work you don't like doing in order to do the work that you do like doing. So you might notice I wanted to take the time to share this video with you to make sure that you know exactly what you're getting into and maybe give you guys some tips that I wish that I had known when I first got started. So most people, when they have developed a skill and they really like doing something, they start a business to do that thing. What that means, like, let's say for example, you love making knickknacks, or you love, like, doing some welding, right? Then you start a welding business because you like welding. But then what you soon find out is that you're not actually doing welding for the first 3 to 6 months of that business, right? Now, a lot of people get very discouraged and disgruntled with that, and they just really fizzle out, right? And it's not that that's a bad thing, that's hard that they weren't able to do the thing they wanted to in the beginning. It's just they were unprepared or did not really think about it. So for example, I have a friend, and he loved playing guitar, right? He would play in his free time. He would play a couple concerts here and there, and then one day he said, I should start making some money at this, right? So he said, why don't I just start teaching guitar lessons? Why don't I have a guitar school? And what he thought was he would just play at different places and people would want to learn the skill set from him, and then he'd be able to go and fill up his clientele and be able to just play guitar all day. And the first thing I told him was, dude, that's a great goal, but just understand that it's not just gonna be you playing guitar and then people are gonna want to do lessons with you. If you're only charging $100 per lesson, $200 per, like, you got to know exactly how you're charging for these lessons, how are you getting people to know you exist, how are you doing your sales consultation to get them to want to pay a higher than average amount of money, like, who are you going to be teaching guitar to, like, all these little things about business that he hadn't really thought about. He said, oh, I'll just figure that out later, right? I don't really care. I just want to play guitar. I want to focus, right? And giving him credit, he did last a little bit longer than what most people do. He lasted for about 7 months of trying, right? So he'd be playing guitar, like, he took up playing at multiple churches, and then after each other service, and he'd ask the pastor if he could go on stage, just kind of promote his just tell a couple people about it. And he would do that, but then he wouldn't really know how to do the sales call. He wouldn't know how to follow up. He didn't really try and really sell the lessons for much. And he just kind of fizzled out, because eventually he's like, man, I got into this thing so I can play guitar, not so I can have a business. And, that's just kind of what happens to most people. Now, let's say you're an accountant or a bookkeeper watching this, right? And you love accounting, you love bookkeeping. Now, when you start a business, you got to understand it's not just you doing accounting, because if you don't have any clients, there's nothing to account for. So the first thing you have to be thinking about is, how can you do a couple things. One sec, I have my notes. So number one, the moral of the story is you need to be doing the stuff you don't want to be doing first, right? That's the marketing. That's the thing about the pricing. That's the, sales. When I say sales, it doesn't mean you have to be like high pressure closer. You have to have like all these like Jedi mind tricks that you use. It's more, you just need to know what is the path to get in front of the right person that you want to work with. And generally, the closer they are to you in the beginning, the easier it is to get them to want to work with you, and the less selling you actually have to do. So, for example, idea number one, right? How can you go and get in front of people that are going to pay you for your accounting and bookkeeping services, especially if you're just starting out? Number one, so I would go to all the owners of the local businesses that you're already shopping at. So let's say that you have like a local grocery store, or maybe you go to a local gym, or a church, or you go to a lot of different places you can go to, right? Yoga studios, bookstores, right? Build a relationship with the owner, the person who actually owns the store. If they don't actually come into that store, it's probably going to be a little bit harder to do, but try and build a relationship slowly over time with that owner, and ask them if who's doing their accounting and bookkeeping. They're going to tell you who's doing it, right? It's either themselves, nobody, friend, family, and spouse. It's going to be another bookkeeper, or it's going to be like a CPA, right? It's generally only like 5 categories of people, right? And then no matter what they say, just ask if they're open to maybe you taking it over for them. Oftentimes, if you have that relationship built with them, they're actually going to do that, right? That can be your dentist, it can be your veterinarian, it can be your spa, your salon that you like going to. There's endless opportunities, right? Everyone needs a bookkeeper. Everyone needs an accountant. It's just most of the people you're going to come in contact with either already have it or they don't really understand why they need it, and that's why they don't have it in place. You just have to go and put in that work to go get your first 1 to 3 clients, and everything else gets really easy from there. A good example of this is like Nicole, right? So when she first got started, she was switching industries. So she had actually came from like real estate, right? And she was like, I don't really know what are the things I need to be focused on in order to go and grow. And I just say, so this is kind of what we do, right? So I have like a private mentorship program I take people through who want to grow their accounting and bookkeeping business. And basically inside of it, we take you through like a 4-step process to be able to, get the business, both the revenue goals that you want as well as the lifestyle goals. So you don't really have to be spending 1,000,000 hours, making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per month inside it, right? So you can really have more of a passive lifestyle. So you can like spend time with your kids. You can go on vacation without having to worry about your income dropping. You can go through like recessionary periods without feeling like you're gonna lose your job or without losing all your clients. It's very, very consistent, stable. But we took it through those 4 steps process, right? And the first thing that we did was, hey, we go through all of the businesses in our local area that she's ever either been to, that she's ever talked to the owner, that she's ever, come in contact with. And we have a really structured way for you to be able to get in front of them, get them to want to work with you, and then go, right? So she got to about $11,000 per month. Technically, it was about $11,400 per month in about 37 days of working together, right? But that's the main thing. That's the main strategy she used. She just went to all the local businesses in the area, and then she just talked to all the owners, got them interested in her service, and then they started working with her. It's not all the businesses in the local area, but she had a really good portion of them. I think she took about 5 businesses total to get to $11,400 per month. So not a huge amount of clients, but that's kind of our strategy. We go after a low number of clients who pay us a really high amount of money per month, generally between like $500 to $5,000 per month. So it's a lot easier for us to maintain those client relationships, take it really seriously, and then like be able to live the life that we want. But that's really how she did it. And then the second way that you can go and get in front of clients who are going to pay you more money so you can go and focus on doing the accounting work is go after people who sell a similar service to you and see if you can get some of their overflow work. So what that basically means is like, so let's say, for example, you go to a virtual CFO, or maybe like a CPA, or maybe like a tax office, or maybe like an enrolled agent, right? And you say, hey, maybe you offer tax planning, and they offer tax planning, but they're just overwhelmed with the demand they have. Maybe you offer bookkeeping, and they just have too many people who want to do their books, right? And you just ask them, hey, can I help you guys out, right? And you basically are getting what's called subcontracting. So they're subbing the work out for, say, like $200 per hour, right? And then you're charging them somewhere between, 0 to 200 to do the work for them. So as long as they're making a margin, this distance in between is the distance above your price is what they're going to be making. Below this price is kind of the profit margin you're going to be making, right? So let's say that they're selling the work out for like $200 an hour because they're like a CFO and they're super, super exclusive. And they only work with the top people, right? And you go to that CFO and you say, hey, I generally charge about $100 an hour, right? And that CFO is like, okay. So the CFO is profiting about $100 per hour, but they're doing none of the work, right? You're doing the work and you're profiting about $100 per hour. And it's just so much easier to kind of work like that. Now, not a lot of businesses are going to want to do that in the beginning, right? Especially if you don't have a lot of clients, you don't really know how to present yourself well, right? But it is an option that if you're willing to put in the work, it is very easy for you to start getting, 1 to 2 of those clients. And once you have that, now you're in a really good financial position to be able to grow the business and focus on the stuff that you love. A good example of this is like Calista. So funny, actually, Calista used to watch these YouTube videos, right? So she clicked on like the link inside the description, then she booked a call with me to see if I can help her out. And at the place that she was at, she was trying to grow, right? Because she really wanted to start her own business. Hey, so back to what we were saying. So the thing with, so my memory card kind of like went out. So I had to go and get a backup to the backup memory card. So just kind of coming in. So the thing with Calista, like she never really done it before. Like she was trying to figure it out on her own, but it just wasn't quite working because it's not the most like straightforward when you're starting out. Like there's a million different things you can do to grow your business or to try and make things work. So she started watching some YouTube videos. She like saw the link inside the description. She booked a call with me to see if I can help her out. And basically what we did, right? So for her, she made a list of all different people who could potentially subcontract some work out to her, right? So that is like a bunch of CFOs inside the area, some CPAs, some tax preparation businesses, right? And she reached out to each of them. Like I give you guys like a message script so you know exactly what to say to those different partners. But in her case, she actually got one of them to sign on for a contract. It's a 12-month contract for about $45,000. Now, there are some stipulations that if she doesn't really like doing the work or something happens to them, she could cancel that contract early. But as far as them, they are actually like contracted in there to be at least 12 months. So that way, you know, she has a lot more income security in her business because she knows that her business is already going to be doing $45,000 for that first year. So that actually gives her a lot more confidence and frees up a lot of mental bandwidth because now she's able to like leave her old job, so now she can do the business full time. Now she has extra time to grow it even further and further and further, and she's doing the work that she loves. So now she has her time back, she's making money, and she is on the right path to keep going, getting more towards that $10,000, $12,000 per month mark. And just super happy for her. I think I'm gonna like film her recap interview probably the next couple of either days or weeks, or have her actually come onto the channel, maybe film some videos about what's new with her and what she's been doing and kind of update it. But yeah, man, like it's really cool when you can work so closely with the students inside of the program, right? Because when they succeed, I can just tell you guys a story about it, and that causes more people to want to join the program. And you know, if you want to get results, you want to be able to grow your business, and you want to avoid a lot of the trial and error that most people go through that cause them to really struggle, then I just invite you to go ahead and click on the link inside of the description either above or below this video, depending on where you're watching it, to book a call with me to see if I can help you out. Now, again, we have to be very selective with who we do take on, because again, not everybody's a good fit for this, right? We're not a good fit for everybody. The people who we choose to work with, the reason why our success rate is so high is because we have a very, very, very stringent process for who we actually accept inside the program. Now, to be honest, it's not a cheap program, right? Our goal is to get you to 6 figures per year while having a really good lifestyle. That can be anywhere from like 20 to about 35 hours per week. Now, again, that's not for everybody, and it's not cheap because of the results that we get people. However, we do have partners with like funding companies. So what that basically means is about 6 months ago, I decided to partner with a company that can fund some of the students. I have to pay like this like monthly fee in order to make sure that they can like give like funding without having any APR. That just means that it's basically same as cash, and depending on like your payment history in life, those payment plans can be up to like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months, depending on what you qualify for, if you qualify for one of those options at all. Right? So that way, money is never really the reason why people can't join the program, because we did want to make it very inclusive for people who, you know, maybe want to join the program or maybe want to do it, but maybe finances just aren't really right in the places they need to be. So if that makes sense and you're interested in like learning more and seeing if I can help you out, click on the link inside the description. At the very least, you might qualify for funding, and you know, it doesn't have to come directly out of your pocket right away, and you have long repayment terms. So if that's you, I'd love to see you on the call. Love to see if I can help you out. And I will talk to you soon, and I will see you later. Have a great rest of your day.